Located 10 kilometres north of Atherton on the Atherton tablelands in far north Queensland are the Mount Emerald wind turbine generators. There are 53, each from 140 metres to 148 metres, covering an area of 2,400 hectares or 24 square kilometres. The proposed Chalumbin development's turbines would be over 100 metres taller than these turbines here. Another proposed wind turbine generator industry is located 260 kilometres further north at Archer Point, 15 kilometres south of Cooktown. It is positioned on a range covered in rainforest, and the size and height is similar to Mount Emerald. In stage 1 there are to be 60 wind turbine generators with 2,300 hectares of destroyed rainforest. What will stage 2 look like? Currently it is undergoing a feasibility study.
This is a view of the Atherton tablelands, one part of it. This is what we are trying to save and prevent wind turbine generators being strewn across the whole area. This is the Caban wind turbine industry, located 50 kilometres south of Mount Emerald and 10 kilometres north of Ravenshoe on the Atherton tablelands. Heading south to Ravenshoe, this is what you encounter, the Caban wind turbine generator industry.
Closer to the Caban wind turbine generators, there are many rural residences and farming interests. The Caban Green Power Hub website promotes how green it is by showing an untouched mountain in the background and without wind turbine generators, falsely claiming how good they are. This video, taken from the same location, demonstrates clearly that in fact there are 28 226 metres high wind turbine generators and over a 1,300 hectare site, with a massive removal of earth, leaving a giant scar on that mountain. Placing them here has already severely destroyed the environment from which it will never recover. The residents' lifestyle and livelihoods have dramatically changed. It is having a devastating impact on their health and well-being. This is an example of Caban wind turbine generators, what many property owners now face when they walk out their front door.
These are the Windy Hill turbine generators, located 5 kilometres east of Ravenshoe, built in 2000, being 20 in number and only producing 12 megawatts. The second stage has been cancelled. Why? What measures are in place to recycle them? If no recycling facilities are available, then how are they to be disposed of and where will it be? Who pays for this? First, you will see in the distance the wet Tropics World Heritage Rainforest location. It covers an area over 450 kilometres long from Cooktown to Townsville. To the right of the World Heritage Rainforest on the distant ranges is Chalumbin, which is intertwined with the World Heritage Rainforest. It is the location for proposed Chalumbin wind turbine industry. As we view further to the right, Ravenshoe is situated 5 kilometres from this location. It is just behind a distant hill. Moving further to the right, we can see the Caban wind turbine generators about 10 kilometres away and close to Ravenshoe. The proposed Chalumbin, current Windy Hill, Caban, Mount Emerald and Archer Point proposal indicates the clear intention to have a line of wind turbine generator industries snaking along the Great Dividing Range in an environmentally and socially destructive process.
My name is Anne, and with Ken we have made this video to demonstrate how serious and damaging this so-called green renewable energy is, and the devastation it is causing and will continue to cause. it is evident that those who boast about and promote renewables have no idea of the harm to the people and the environment they are causing. They all must read the magazine No Idea.
And all the pages are blank. The industrial scale wind turbine industry monstrosities are being developed along the entire Great Dividing Range, fanning out across valuable farming land, and includes power lines on a massive structural scale. Australia's economy cannot afford this, nor can we as consumers. The Chalumbin wind turbine industry original proposal was for 95 towers at near to 250 metres in height and close to the same height of Sydney Centre Point Tower of 309 metres. Thousands of hectares of forest is to be destroyed, allowing for 70-metre wide roads and tower location. Also, it will run beside the wet tropics World Heritage Rainforest within 1 kilometre of it and for 100 kilometres along it.
A major concern to both local residents and the environmental organisation CAFNEC, who are united in campaigning against the Chalumbin wind turbine industry, is its close proximity to the Queensland Wet Tropics World Heritage Rainforest. This very beautiful area is extremely important for its rich and unique biodiversity. It also presents an unparalleled record of the ecological and evolutionary processes that shape the flora and fauna of Australia.
UNESCO states that the diversity of the plant communities and animal habitats of the wet tropics is recognised as being the most floristically and structurally diverse in Australia and is also outstanding on a global scale.
The proposed development is only 1 kilometre from the World Heritage Rainforest area, and the flora and fauna in this region do not recognise government borders and travel between the World Heritage Rainforest and the Chalumbin areas. If the development were to go ahead, this would be devastating to the endangered and vulnerable species living in these areas. Road and turbine construction would cause immense, permanent environmental destruction and fatalities. And when the turbines start to operate, light pollution at night, noise pollution, infrasound, barotrauma and bat and bird collisions with the blades would continue to increase the death toll. UNESCO states the following: importantly, this Act also aims to protect matters of national environmental significance, such as World Heritage properties, from impacts even if they originate outside the property or if the values of the property are mobile, as in fauna. It thus forms an additional layer of protection designed to protect values of World Heritage properties from external impacts.
UNESCO, Queensland State Government, Australian Federal Government agreed that no harm is allowed to happen to the World Heritage Rainforest, both internally and from external sources. These bodies, along with the wind turbine generator companies, conveniently ignore these set of facts. For the sake of Australia's precious biodiversity, this proposed development must be stopped.
Now, to pass the Chalumbin approval stage, it must progress through the Federal Government Environment Portfolio. The company has offered reductions from the original 95 towers to 86, and now most recently has reduced the tower numbers to 42. 42 is still 42 too many. State and federal governments across Australia and the energy companies have no social licence or approval by the communities to force upon us an inferior energy technology that is environmentally and socially destructive on an epic scale. People come to Australia from all around the world to see this extraordinary biodiversity and ancient land with a significant cultural heritage. People move here because of that.
State and federal politicians, as well as corporate executives, don't live here. They don't care. Except for a few, they live in cities or in other countries. If they love tall structures like skyscrapers, then they should put them in their backyard, not in my backyard, not in our backyard, not now, not ever.
Behind this mountain range is the World Heritage Rainforest, and to the right, intertwined with it, is Chalumbin, where on the horizon the energy company wants to construct industrial scale wind turbine monstrosities close to the height of Sydney's Centre Point Tower, and will be clearly seen from this and many other locations.
Many people have moved here to get away from cities and giant structures for the natural surrounds, wildlife, peace and quiet, and their health. Tableland's Regional Council rates charges have our properties named in a category as rural lifestyle. I purchased a property next door to Chalumbin over a decade ago for those same reasons, and no mention was ever made regarding wind turbine generators to be constructed in Chalumbin. A large number of neighbours are facing the same situation. Should these towers be imposed upon us, then what will Tableland's Regional Council categorise our rates as? The rural lifestyle is smashed by industry. Now in the last few weeks, several properties have been placed on the market because the owners cannot cope with facing structural monstrosities every day and night. What chance do they have of selling, and what happens to their property value? I have spoken to many neighbours, and there are people who have considered suicide because their dream of living in a rural location has been shattered. If these wind turbine generators keep getting constructed around Australia, then where do they move to? In the early 60s, the construction of the Jindabyne Dam forced the moving of the township and people to the top of the hill. Here we can't be moved anywhere, let alone to the top of a hill, because that is where the wind turbine generators will be.
This method of the questionable implementation of an inferior energy system is all for political ideology and politically biased corporations, not for climate change. The Chalumbin project and others must not go ahead for any reason. The manufacture and implementation of wind turbine generators and solar panel generators on massive industrial scales cause more damage to the environment, the social cohesion, the cost of living and the economy. Australia, we must stop this madness. Call or write to MPs, media and others and tell them no. Minister for the Environment in Federal Parliament, Tanya Plibersek, you have the power to stop the Chalumbin Wind Tower Generator project and the remaining proposals as well. The question is, do you have the courage to do so, or will you kowtow to foreign corporate greed, lies and land grabbing? Minister, please show you have the courage to stop the Chalumbin project. Lead by example. Be remembered for that, and not as a minister of a portfolio that destroyed Australia's magnificent environment permanently.